Hi, friends. As soon as I was scratching my butt crack, which suddenly got itchy, I'm going to review the film Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. There, that's better. I just watched Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid by myself. And hilarious, great film. Brilliant, brilliant film. Lots of laugh out loud moments. Lots of laugh out loud moments. From 1982. And you know, comedy didn't necessarily age well, but I've seen a couple of very funny comedies from the 80s the last 2 days. I saw Clue yesterday with Rachel, and then today I watched Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, which, you know, I remember from a long time ago, but seeing it now, it's so good. It's hilarious. I can't believe what a piece of art that film is. You know, it takes old movie clips and inserts them in with the parts that they filmed. The whole movie's in black and white. But it's so good and so entertaining and quick moving and funny. Steve Martin is at his absolute best. It's great. It's a great movie. I strongly recommend to anybody who's looking for a movie to watch, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. 1982, Steve Martin. Anyhow, you're probably wondering what's going on with me and Rachel. I'm not sure, frankly. She says she wants to stay now, but she doesn't seem to get that, you know, I mean, more than, I don't want her acquiescence, I want her yeah. Okay, what do you want me to help you out with, Jason Blood? No, I'm not going to massage your prostate for you, Jason. I'm sorry. I'm just not into that. Can you believe it, everybody? Jason Blood comes in here and asks me if I will massage his prostate for him. No. For the last time, no. Well, Jason Blood, get on with it. What do you want me to help you with? I do remember the time somebody came in here making racist comments about India. Yes, but I have no idea who it was. So I don't know if it was an ISP named Christian or not. But I do remember when somebody came in here and did that, yes. Somebody said it was abysmal about Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. No, it was fantastic. I loved it. I highly recommend it. Also, hey, Kyra, last night Rachel and I watched Clue as per your suggestion. We loved it. Yeah, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid is a 1982 film with Steve Martin in it. But we took your suggestion last time. We watched Clue and we both loved it. I'm doing fine. Rachel's doing a lot worse than I am right now, I imagine. She's in bed. She says she has a headache. She's probably gonna go to sleep right now. And you know, I feel fine because I'm not in the difficult position she is, you know. She's in a difficult position. I'm at peace with whatever happens at this point. But she's got to, she doesn't really have, like, you know, I guess you could say she would prefer to engage with other people from a position of power, where she has her own place, her own income, her own money, her own resources, and stuff like that, and doesn't have to negotiate everything with another person, maybe, and that's understandable, but I can't provide that for her, and she didn't have that coming into the relationship. I'm all right in the sense that I feel for Rachel. I feel bad for her because, she has this habit of I'll get to that in a second, Bubble Puppy. Actually, I'll get to it right now. What do I mean by meta-analysis? So, for example, it means the same basic thing as in science. So, if in science you're analyzing whether or not there's a correlation between, let's say, ADHD and going to prison. Okay, a diagnosis of ADHD and going to prison. Well, if I'm going to study it directly, I'm going to look at data points like ADHD people and prison rates and stuff like that, right? So if I'm trying to talk about meta-analysis, then instead of studying it directly, I'm going to study all the different studies about it that are relevant and say, well, look, if we look at all the different studies about it, we can conclude that the consensus here in the results is meow. We see the following methodological problems in meow and meow. So instead of studying it directly, we're studying how it's studied. Okay? Same thing with cognitive functions. A perfect example of analysis versus meta-analysis is what happened with Ethan McDonald. He came in, he informed me of his background. I said, okay, if you were the typologist, what would you conclude from having heard what you just told me? And he did analysis at that point. The analysis he gave was that, well, I would conclude that because the person knows a lot about cognitive functions, I could ask certain kinds of questions and yada, yada, yada. Okay. So that's analysis because it's analyzing what he said. Now, meta-analysis would be what I said, which is, well, instead of focusing on what you just told me, I'm saying, what does one conclude from the fact that you chose to set up this disclaimer ahead of time? What does that inform us of? What is that representative process-wise? Not the words you said. And this is the issue I keep having with him, and when I'm disputing his type back and forth with him in these conversations here in the chats, is that he keeps trying to do analysis. He assumes that I was doing analysis. He says things like, well, you didn't get it right because I wasn't being honest with you, Eric. It doesn't matter if he was being honest or not because I wasn't evaluating the content of his words. I was evaluating the process of his word manners, right? That's what makes it meta-analysis. Meta-analysis is also like, instead of advocating for position A or position B, I will lay out all the arguments for position A and B and say, the most successful way to argue for position A is meow, and the most successful way to argue for position B is meow. I'm not taking a position myself. I'm just indicating this is my analysis of the argumentation rather than using analysis to argue. Well, Jason Blood, to a certain extent, I'm going to have to side with Becky here, actually. If Becky's not responsible for somebody else's racist comments, and she's not responsible to dislike somebody because they're racist, and she's not responsible to say, hey, you can't be racist around here. That's not emboldening racist behavior. She's just saying, I don't feel any obligation to be responsible for policing his internal processes and positions. If his positions are really bad, then he'll face plenty of attack from plenty of people, Or perhaps it's just a toxic environment in which groupism is tolerated in ways that it generally isn't here. But I am going to have to agree with Becky that, Mark's Mark. Mark's comments are Mark's comments. They're not Becky's comments. So I don't think that's duplicitous. I don't think Becky is responsible for Mark's positions. Oh, okay. My bad. I misunderstood. I stand corrected. Okay, well, I mean, if it is in fact the case that Becky simply lied, denied what was the case, avoided the truth about something, and tried to dissemble or gaslight in a fashion, well, then you've got a legitimate critique. That's totally legitimate. But what I'm claiming is that it is not the case that her refusing to take ownership of Mark's racism, it means that she's somehow emboldening racism. She's not responsible for it. I have the wonderful advantage of being fair even about my enemies. It's the greatest advantage you can have, Becky has positioned herself clearly as my enemy on multiple occasions, and yet I'm still fair when I'm talking about her. I'm not trying to get her, and I acknowledge things. Like just the other day, hilariously, what was it? Yesterday that Rachel and I made a video about healthy relationships, and then like last night, boom, all of a sudden we're breaking up again. It's weird. Saying it's okay if somebody made racist comments is emboldening racism. It is okay if somebody makes racist comments. It doesn't mean that you agree with the substance of their racism. You might say, I mean, I don't generally tolerate it around here, but it's primarily because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. All groupism is bad. Everybody is engaged in some forms of groupism, usually. Most people are. Usually it's not overt racism, which is a particularly slow-witted form of groupism that is easily critiquable. But the point is, if for people who talk about liberals, conservatives, everybody's engaged in some sort of stupidity. There's no reason to highlight that particular stupidity and condemn somebody. I don't know if Becky condoned his behavior or not. All I heard from you was her saying that Mark's Mark and his positions are his positions. I didn't hear you say that she condoned his positions. I just heard you say that she attributed ownership of his positions to him. Oh. Again, I'm confused? Okay, I don't know. Oh, you're talking about Zaylen Block. Oh, okay. I keep getting confused. My bad, Jason Blood. I just stay out of this conversation. I'm just making it even more confusing. So, I don't know what to do really about this whole Rachel thing. And I think partially what I should do is just not really care about it, let it go, and just assume. And I still haven't booked the ticket. The last thing that I heard from her was that she wants to stay. Why is my butt crack so itchy right now? And I just didn't. Like I said before, I don't want to facilitate her making what I would consider to be a big impulsive mistake and letting her just sort of live with the consequences of that. I try not. Well, I mean, I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not really sure yet. I am currently. I haven't bought her a ticket yet. Well, this is the thing. I try to pin her down on what she means. I say, okay, so all you need to do to get out of this relationship is clearly and unequivocally convince me that you don't want to be in it, that you prefer to not be in it, that you actively choose the alternative to this. And she can't do that or won't do that, you know? Well, I respect people's rights to stay neutral, Jason Blood. I respect Zaylen Black's at least desire to be neutral, even if I might agree to some extent with you that she's not actually being neutral. But that's not the point. I respect everybody's right to consume and participate in whatever media they want, whether it's against me, for me, or totally unrelated to me. But I appreciate your pro-team attitude, Jason Blood. I really do. I appreciate your pro-team attitude. Okay? And I thank you for it. You're a team player, buddy. You are a team player, and I thank you for it. Cheers with this Sprite to you. What did you miss? You missed me explaining that Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid is a great film. And then if you haven't seen it, you should see it. Smoothie, nice. Jason Blood living large with a smoothie tonight. Ooh, you know he paid like $10 for that thing in Japan. Unless he made it himself. Did you make it yourself? If he bought it at a store in Japan, it probably had like octopus and mayonnaise in it. I'm sure it's disgusting. I mean, yeah, I'm letting it play out as it plays out. You want the octopus and mayonnaise, or you want the cuttlefish and wasabi? Which flavor smoothie do you want? They're both absolutely disgusting. Popeye's protein with extra protein? Sounds like a lot of protein. Jason Blood. You sure you can handle that much protein? Yeah, I'm not entertaining any more conversation about it, frankly. You want to play Pokemon all night, but you don't know how to download it? Well, so what makes it a good movie? First of all, it's very snappily written, and it's hilarious without being crude. It's got a lot of like funny, clean jokes, basically. It's really well written. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, 1982, starring Steve Martin. It was produced by or written by Steve Martin and Carl Reiner. And Carl Reiner is in it as well. And the lady who plays the lady in it, she's really good. I don't know what her name is, but she's really good. And it's got a ton of laugh out loud moments. A ton of them. In Japan, that's all they got. They got cuttlefish wasabi. This is Jamba Juice. Japan's Jamba Juice only has two kinds of smoothies: octopus mayonnaise and cuttlefish wasabi. They're both disgusting. I tell you what's even more delicious, Jason Blood, not eating fish, but eating pigs and cows and chickens like God intended. Yeah, I bet we do agree pretty often, email those folks. Do we agree on Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid? Hilarious. Clue. Kyra's suggestion from last night. Hilarious. Really, really entertaining. Packed full of stars. Let me tell you, Clue is like a collection of great 80s stars. No, LA Story. There was a couple more between Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid and LA Story. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid is 82. Clue is pretty complex. It's a pretty complex movie, but it's full of great 80s stars. From Tim Curry to the guy who plays the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off to Madeline Kahn. You know Madeline Kahn? Yes, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid is a noir. It's filmed in black and white. The whole movie's in black and white, even though it was in 1982. Yeah, that Doc Brown guy is in it. Right. Thank you, Curious Kyra. The only one I didn't really recognize in the movie was the French maid. I didn't know who she was, really. She didn't look familiar, but everybody else was like super familiar. Martin Mull is in it. Tim Curry is fantastic in Clue too. He's great. He's amazing. Everybody is. Everybody's fantastic in it. I didn't recognize the cook and I didn't recognize the maid, but everybody else in the movie is like a famous 80s star. Yeah, and Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, it incorporates clips from old movies, like old Humphrey Bogart movies and stuff. And so, like he'll call on the phone, and Humphrey Bogart will be saying stuff on the other end, and he'll go like, no, you know, and he'll say, yeah, back. It's totally worth the $3 or whatever it is to rent it on YouTube. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Jerry like the mouse. You and I are two men with one brain because I was just on the tip of my lips about to segue into that one. I haven't seen it in many years, but I'm going to see it again. The thing that I realized when I watched Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid is this joke that I've always done with every chick I get with, basically. I got from Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. In other words, I always say to them, like, you know, oh, I need to adjust your breasts. They've gotten out of alignment. Because when the lady, I forget what her name is, but she faints in the movie and he catches her and he lays her on the couch. And then he starts squeezing her boobs. And she wakes up. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, when you fainted, your breast got all out of alignment. There. And when I get with chicks, I always, I didn't remember that that's where I got it from. I must have got it from that movie when I was a teenager or something. I just thought it was so hilarious. When I get with chicks, I'd be like, oh, those look out of alignment. I'm going to have to do some adjustment here. There. I don't know. They still look out of alignment. Yeah, it's and then at the very end though, what's cool is it's fair. The movie's fair because at the very end, he goes, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, we're together at last." And then he goes, "What are you doing?" And she says, "I'm adjusting your willy." There. And he says, "Been a long time since anyone had adjusted my willy like that, especially with me not having to beg." So it's funny. The whole thing is hilarious. All of me, I think, if I remember correctly, all of me works very hard to get its laughs. And I'm not really interested in rewatching that. I'll probably rewatch Man with Two. I haven't seen Man with Two Brains in many, many years. Was she having the octopus mayonnaise? So Steve Martin is in my opinion, if there's somebody that I idolize and go, we're not worthy, and just think he's a genius, it's Steve Martin. Yeah, that's popular flavor in Japan. I hate mayonnaise so much. Do you know you ever been to that restaurant in Japan, Jason Blood, that serves everything made out of mayonnaise? Have you ever been to that restaurant? I've heard about it. I saw it on like a travel channel or something. This restaurant is called, I think it's called Mayo, maybe, and everything is made out of mayonnaise. This seems so awful. Why would there ever be such a restaurant? That's like the most terrible restaurant in history. No, Japanese love that flavor, Jerry. Octopus mayonnaise is their favorite smoothie. They scoop mayonnaise into the blender, and they just put a whole dead raw octopus in there, blend it up, and then they go, here you go. And they're just like, I hate mayonnaise so much, though, Jason Blood. The Japanese are so wrong about mayonnaise. Have you told them that? Have you explained to them that they are wrong about mayonnaise? Do I have a favorite movie? I gotta say, I've seen a lot of good movies, since I've been with Rachel. I didn't really watch a lot of movies prior to that, but since I've been with Rachel, I've seen a lot of good movies. So it's like I've got sort of historical favorite movies and more contemporary favorite movies. Some of my favorite movies from the olden days, so to speak, are Nightmare Before Christmas and Princess Bride, or two I always name. Some of my favorite new movies are Thor Ragnarok. That's just, wow, so good. So epic. It's one of the few movies I have re-rented. Like, I rented it, and then like just a couple months later, I re-rented it. I think I've rented it like 3 times. I might as well have just bought it, That movie's really brilliant. What other movie do I like a lot? Back when I was a teenager, I really liked Back to the Future. That was just spectacularly fun when I was a teenager. And of course, I really always used to include, when I was younger, the episodes 4, 5, 6 of the Star Wars, the ones that came out starting in 79. All 3 of those are great. Empire is the best one of the 3, I think. Empire Strikes Back. And they're all 3 substantially better than any other Star Wars movie that I've seen. What's the archetype for INFP? Is it a few descriptive words? Well, you can describe it in a few words. I would say nurtures fragile ward. Nurtures fragile ward. Curious Kyra. That's my name, my quick tag for INFP. How do you like being described as fragile? Is that flattering? But if you ever watch my INFP Nurtures Fragile Ward video, Curious Kyra, you'd like it. You should watch it. Okay. If you haven't seen it, it's INFPs like it a lot. They say I really understand them. INFP nurtures fragile ward. Fragile strength of nurtures ward. That's what it's called. My bad.
Hello, my name is host Eric.
Nurtures ward, a fragile strength.
People.
Here you go. You'll probably like this a lot. That's what I think, because I've talked to plenty of INFPs who think that, so it's hot that they say it's wonderful, yeah, and they really like that video. The real debate, should Nightmare Before Christmas be a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? Well, the answer is clearly both, but if we have to pick one, I'm going to pick Halloween. It's really a Halloween movie. It's about Halloween town, okay? But if you have to pick one, what's the movie really? Is it really a Halloween movie? Is it really a Christmas movie? The answer is it's really a Halloween movie. It begins and ends. It begins before Halloween night and it ends after Halloween night. Emailed Anthrax. Don't hurt an INFP's feelings. You make me jump into protective action. It's more of a Halloween movie than a Christmas movie. That's the correct answer, Morris. You and I are in full agreement here. It's about, after all, Jack Skellington, the king of Halloween Town. It's not really about Santa Claus, even though Santa Claus is in the film. You have to think of it from that perspective. Be nice to people. Email Anthrax. Mean is the new lame. Everybody knows that. Don't make me be mean to you. Hey, don't make me be mean. Mean's the new lame. You're responsible for my behavior. I'm just kidding. You're not really responsible for my behavior. I'm responsible for my behavior. Right now, I'm responsible to pull this bong rip and make a cup of coffee. Oh, life's a hard and funny thing sometimes. No bullying. This is a bully-free zone. Anybody who bullies will be bullied mercilessly. That's the punishment for violating the bully-free zone. Life's a tumbleweed, and everywhere you go, you just roll and roll and roll and roll and roll, tumbling along. Life is torturous joy. The unbearable lightness of being. That has to be the most pretentious title of something ever in history. The unbearable lightness of being. Ugh. The unbearable pretentiousness of that title. You know? You know what's another super pretentious title? Like water for chocolate. Like meow for meow, right? God, for like such a long time, that title just made me mad. right? Every time I heard it or thought about it, it made me mad. The unbearable lightness of being. It's like, ooh, nah. I want to go like to somebody, whoever came up with that. No, no, no. I want to say like that. No, that's a bad title. The unbearable lightness of being. Irresistible urge to tell you to shut the hell up, you know? Love in the time of cholera. Okay, Gabriela Garcia Marquez. Get in line. Get in line next to Unbearable Lightness for Being and Like Water for Chocolate, guys. I want all three of you in a line. Love in the time of cholera. Like Water for Chocolate. Unbearable Lightness of Being. You're all getting spanked. You're all getting spanked for your stupid, pretentious titles. Love in the time of cholera. Okay. No. I'm sure it sounds way cooler in Spanish, but no. I need to run a consulting business called Is My Title Okay? Yeah. Like Water for Chocolate. Like, what from yeah? It is so lame. It's totally gaff. Of course, the gaffest thing of all time, and I actually saw about 25 minutes of it or something, had to be the single gaffest thing of all time. If you want to have a gaff contest, I'm going to win the gaff contest with this one, no matter who you are, no matter what gaff thing you're talking about, okay? And it was possibly the most painful 25 minutes of my life. It's a little something called Menopause the Musical. Oh, I shit you not. I shit you not. Did I actually go see a live production of Menopause the Musical? Yeah, I did. I am not shitting you. Why? My boss at work saw it in Vegas, I guess. Said it was, she was an older lady, said it was hilarious. It was so funny and that I was going to love it. And she got me like front row, not front row, but like fourth row seats for me and my wife to go see it locally here where it was playing in Los Angeles. And so I was just like, no, N-O-T, email anthrax. So I said, okay, I guess I kind of gotta go to this thing. This woman is so excited to hear me say, it was hilarious, you know? It was so horrible. You can't even conceive of anything so horrible. You've never heard or thought of or seen or imagined anything in the world so horrible. It's like, it's kind of like the North Korea. No, I was just like, well, you know, it wasn't really exactly my taste. I could see, you know, I did my best to sort of meow it around, but I wasn't gonna lie to her. But everybody should know about this horrible thing, aka the worst thing ever. All right, so its subtitle is The Hilarious Celebration of Women and the Change. What? That right there, Menopause the Musical. It's the equivalent of biological warfare of media. It's the mustard gas, let's say, even. It's the mustard gas of media. It's so awful that all the countries band together to agree that nobody would ever let that musical play again in their country. That is my vote for the worst thing ever, okay? Everybody else want to have a vote for the worst thing ever, you go ahead and tell me what's worse than that. What is worse than Menopause the Musical? What is worse? Anything? You know, with a lot of mustard gas, you'll get blistering and stuff like that on your skin. But with just the right amount, it adds a certain unique spiciness to your food. Mustard turns mean when it becomes gas. That's true. Cats the movie? Is Cats the movie a thing? Is it really? Cats the movie? Let's see. Cats the movie could, in theory, be worse than Menopause the Musical. Let me see. Cats the movie. It was from 2019? Wow. It got 1 star. Rotten Tomatoes. It got, the critics gave it 3.7 out of 10. Top critics gave it 3.81 out of 10. Audience score 3.16. So it's not very well liked. I guess that's bad, but it's not as bad as Menopause the Musical. I mean, I'm sorry, you lose that. You're gonna lose that battle, I think. Menopause the Musical is worse. I mean, you can imagine, right? You just have to think about it. It's songs like, "What's that? It's a hot flash. It's a hot flash. What's that? It's hot. I'm cold. I'm hot. I'm cold." And da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, remember? And like these old ladies in the audience are, "Oh, it's like me and my hot flashes." It's so fucking obvious and awful and terrible. It's like everything that's wrong with the vagina monologues plus everything that's wrong with AARP combined. It's horrible. So it's so bad. Oh my God. You know, it's like life gets topsy-turvy and ropsy when you're going through the change. It's like, I can't stand this any longer. It's so terrible. I only made it 20 minutes. It's not a movie. It's a musical, but you can see clips of the musical online. You can find clips of it, and you'll change that position right away, Running Fox. You will change that position. You do not love this musical. Email Anthrax. Let me tell you do not love this musical. Vaginal Blood Splish Splash Party. Exactly. It's just Vaginal Blood Splish Splash Party gone dry, right? It's Don't dive into the vaginal blood splish splash party. It's just an empty pool. But I appreciate the vaginal blood sploosh splash party callback. It's actually sploosh splash. It's not splish splash. Just to clarify, it's SPLOOSH sploosh. I think you'll agree that sploosh splash is better than splish splash. I mean, splish splash party would still be funny, but the correct name, vaginal blood sploosh splash party, it's just right. I didn't make it up. Email Anthrax and INFJ did. That's how you know it's right. You know, Legend of Hercules is so bad. Pacific Rim was quite terrible, quite bad. Ford versus Ferrari, so boring. Oh my God, so boring. Hi, Winston's mom. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, though, is hilarious. Pacific Rim is not good at all. It's just not a good movie. Ford versus Ferrari is terrible. Super boring. Just so boring. I think Rachel would include Cabin Boy in the list of terrible movies. She hated Cabin Boy. I thought Cabin Boy was funny, but that's just me. What kind of terrible movies does he like? Yeah, I think we're doing fine. I didn't buy a ticket for it yet. Aquaman was terrible. Oh my God, Aquaman was so bad. Oh, have you ever seen Aquaman? Terrible movie. Oh my goodness. Aquaman it doesn't make any sense. The Fanatics turned John Travolta. Yeah, I didn't get her a train ticket yet. Now last thing she said before bed was she wants to stay, I don't like this thing that's happening, this drama, or whatever you want to call it. Well, Xavier, so I guess you missed the earlier live streams about it. The long and the short of it is I didn't oh yeah, that is terrible. That is a terrible one, Morris. Oh, you did watch them. Okay, so you know what's going on. There's this whole movie thing that she wanted me to wait. I said I was gonna wait, and then I decided I didn't want to wait, and then she, came out here and packed her bags. And I was just like, what the fuck? You cannot be doing this again. Oh, you did miss them. I haven't seen the Planet of the Apes trilogy. I suspect that there's. Oh, I heard that. I know what movie I heard was really bad was um, Doctor Dolittle with Iron Man starring in it. I mean, I don't think this was his best movie, but I love it. I love that movie, Deadman Don't Wear Plaid. I think it's brilliant. Um, I suspect that Holmes versus Watson is not very good with Will Ferrell and that other guy who was in Step Brothers with him. Um, he's done some period pieces. I remember him being in a couple of dramas. There was something I saw him in that was I'll avoid Watson and Holmes and Watson. Okay, I will. He walked out. Wow, you really didn't like it. Okay. When I see things in the theater, I have a much higher threshold for enjoyment because I don't really want to be in the theater. You know, it's Anaconda was a bad movie and Congo was unwatchable. Fast and Furious, don't really remember it. Hobbs and Shaw was terrible. Didn't see it. Let's see. Other terrible, terrible films that I've seen. Like mainstreamish films. Nice Guys is a really good buddy cop movie, is it? That's good to know. You know, there's this movie called Yes, I've discussed with her. This is what we've been talking about all day. All the Rock movies recently have been terrible. Not surprising. Uh, The Wrong Missy on Netflix was the worst movie I've seen in a while. It's okay. I'll tell you solo. Oh, good. Adrena Media is here. Wonderful. He always has useful things to add to the conversation. You finished it in 15 minutes. Fast forward the entire thing. South Park the movie is pretty good. What are you talking about? Winston's mom. South Park the movie was pretty funny. I mean, I haven't seen it since it was in the theaters, but it was pretty funny. Other terrible movies I've seen. Well, I have watched Pinata Island. Has anybody else here seen Pinata Island? I watched that on TV one night and I just was like, what in the world is this thing? Uh, Pinata Demon Island. It's called Demon Island, but or it's either Demon Island or maybe actually I think it was Pinata Survival Island. Pinata Survival Island. Oh yeah, it's the same movie. Terrible, terrible movie. Okay. This movie is truly, truly terrible. Pinata Survival Island. You went to the recent live action Lion King movie and we walked out? Oh, I'm sorry. It was so bad, huh? Hi, Supwalk. What's going on? Pinata Survival Island Demon Chasing. Oh my God. Terrible, terrible movie. Terrible movie. Pinata Survival Island. Would not recommend it. Well, I mean, the thing is, genuinely awful means it's like the first time I watched Survival Pinata Survival Island. It was on TV, and I was just sort of confused at first, like, what's going on here? Why are they going to an island? Why? What is this? Some sort of sorority and fraternity thing? What is this about a pinata? That's a pinata? Just like, what is this thing I'm watching? It was just one of those kind of immersively strange experiences. Like, wait a second. But I have seen plenty of clips of The Room, but I've also seen clips of Neil Breen, who's very much equivalent. If you watch some Neil Breen clips, it's just like, what? Like, I understand Neil Breen a little bit more. He's well, okay. Here's the thing. Didn't they have Taken 3? Where this guy's family keeps getting taken all the time? Like, oh, didn't Taken 1 and 2 teach you anything? Why are you so careless that your family's getting taken 3 different times? It's like that. What? Taken 3 has hilariously bad editing. I never saw it. I just the idea of Taken 3 just like, wait a second. So Taken 1, she gets taken, and then shock of all shocks, and Taken 2, she gets taken again, and then oh, but hold on a second. You thought you were done being taken. It is time to take you a third time. Taken 4. I give up. Keep her. She's like 40 now. Why you can't keep trying to take her away? Take me once, shame on you. Take me twice, shame on you. Take me 3 times, still shame on you, but take me 4 times, shame on me. Numinous. Yeah, you are the second person to bring that word to my attention. I might remember it now, since a second person has brought it to my attention. Apparently, Sam Harris is a fan of the word. Sam Harris popularized its use, apparently. Not the second person today, the second person overall. The last person to mention it was probably 6 months ago. I don't know, 4 months ago. Numinous. No, I didn't say your apples were numerous. I know you only have 2 of them. I said they were numinous. I largely respect his approach to things. Oh, the lawnmower. You're already perfect at that. All right, let me see the link you sent put here. Let me mute this for a sec. Wow. That's a lot of cuts. That is a lot of cuts to jump over one fence. Yeah, it's headache inducing for sure. That's really awful. That's some awful filmmaking right there. He goes over the fence first and lands on his stomach. He obviously did a few flips we didn't see in the air. Why does YouTube always fail to do its job and tell me Eric's streaming? Getting too old for those stunts. Yeah. Well, it's exciting because the music is very intense. Well, I don't know about Sky Gear, Lord of the Promiscuous Any Tool. Once again, you come in a little on the late side. I got a cup of coffee still to finish, probably another couple balls to pull. But here's looking at you, kid. Here's looking at you. Liam Neeson is also getting too old for D's nuts. So, that's why I don't invite him over anymore. Good night, Morridge. Sleep well. Don't let the bed bugs frighten you. Also, don't let the red bugs bite. Don't let the bed bugs fight. Don't let the red bugs bite. Don't let the head bugs smite you. Okay? One of the problems that we have around here is that Morridge is always letting the head bugs smite him. Good night, Morris. Good night. Don't forget to sleep well. A super sexy spectrum of hearts. That is a super sexy spectrum of hearts. I feel pretty, oh so pretty, because Sky Gear has a spectrum of hearts. I feel pretty, and a spectrum of hearts are good. Indubitably. It just means undoubtedly, or undoubtedly. Look up Ostrobogulus. Ostrobogulus? Ostrobogulus is a word? That's not a word, Ostrobogulus. Slightly risque or indecent, bizarre, interesting, or unusual. The superlative, most Ostrobogulus, not Ostrobogulistist. And more Ostrobogulus, not Ostroboguliser. Okay. Something that is slightly risque or indecent. I think the only way you can get away with using that word successfully is in the following context. You go, I'm not saying it was bawdy. It was just, Ostrobogulus. Titillating. Ostrobogulus. Is that how you say it? Ostrobogulus? That's some sort of crazy ass word there, I'll tell you. How do you pronounce it? Ostrobogulus. Ostrobogulus. Yeah, you're right, Octavia Soa, aka Ostrobogulus. How it's pronounced. Pulchritudinous. I'm fond of obviate. It's a good word. Obviate. To remove a need or difficulty. Avoid or prevent. The Venetian blinds obviated the need for curtains. You might think of it as making something moot. Yeah, I like severe and severity as well. Why was America for sale? Somebody was selling America? I wasn't notified of a sale. Pillory. I like pillory. To attack or ridicule publicly. He found himself pilloried by members of his own party. That's how it's usually used. these days. Quit pillorying me, you pillory pudding putter. Don't be a pillory pudding putter. Nobody likes that. Are you a futuristic bohemian? Are you sure you're not a pillory pudding putter? I think you might be. Titillating. Or what about lugubrious? Lugubrious? Is that how it's spelled? Or the GRE, graduate requisite exam or something like that. Okay, I gotta wrap it up. Good night, everybody. Sleep well. Don't forget to bet the bed bugs with your fights.